Hello everyone. I'm just getting this stream set up. That looks good to me. Want to make sure I don't have anything running in the background again. I do not. Very good. Okay. Good. It's just mic audio. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Today we're going to case up and time this Omega, and then I'm going to start on that 992E for a service on it. I think I'll install this Omega into the case. I've actually just cleaned the case and cleaned the buffed and cleaned the crystal. I will throw it on the timer when it's in the case. Oh, and by the way, this guy in the corner is it's a Waltham, but it's just something to look at in that corner until I use the microscope. It's a pretty movement. I'm usually not a fan of Walthams, but this one's in really, really good condition. And I really enjoy the regulator. How's that staller? Good looking watch. Big old 18 size. Okay. Let's install this in the case. Yeah. Well, first of all, let's get those braces in. Okay. Something to note, usually you don't want to put a movement and dial and hands and everything in a movement holder. I don't really care about this dial. Like I've said, I've already messed it up. So if I put a little bit more wear on it, oh well. But usually, unless you have a plastic one, but usually you don't want to put a dial in the movement holder. Just something to note. So let's get this brace on there. How is everyone doing today? I've so far had a good morning. Okay, got one in, one to go. Okay. Now let's install this in the case. Actually, that's a stupid idea. This doesn't have a case back. Okay, I lied. I'm not gonna do that. If it had a case back, I would have, but it does not, so there's no way to bump the regulator. Okay, well, I'll wind it up and then time it that way. We'll see what we're looking at. Let's see. After that new reversing wheel got installed and that great wheel, this winds awesome. Okay. We are running. Let's install this in here. And then we'll bump that regulator. Oh, is it touching? I don't think so. Okay. Let's see. let us take this off. We don't want a lot of noise. Let's move. Maybe I just do this point of view. Let's see. Let's see here. All right. Let's get that there. And I'll show the rate. This is just a cheap number 1000 timing machine. I plan to get a better one, but that's what I got for right now. So, okay. Where are we at here? We are very fast. Okay, so we have to seriously move. There's two different regulations here. Actually, it's the same regulation, but the regulating pins can be moved, and then the regulator itself can be moved for a micro adjustment. So we're going, since it's so far off, we're going to start moving the pins first, and then we'll move to the spring-loaded regulator. So, since we are fast, we want to elongate it. Okay. Okay. Well, we definitely need to get that beat error down. So, okay, now I can kind of put in, I'm not going to adjust it any further until I get the beat error down, because that will change the timing of it slightly. Okay, so let's pull off that balance and adjust the beat. It's really close. It's at 0.5, but I'd like to get it at 0.1 to 0. I'd like to get it to 0, but okay, let's pull off the balance and adjust the beat. Where are my tacks? You can turn off that. Okay. I'll probably be doing this under the microscope because that way I can see. Okay, where did I put my tacks? Okay, so now we are going to find where the hairspring stud is split. And then basically what we're doing, essentially what we're doing is we're changing the position of this stud. Essentially what we're doing, we are changing the position of the stud, but we're trying to get the roller jewel absolutely perfectly centered in between the two banking pins. Two banking pins are right down here. They're on the pallet fork stud, or pallet fork bridge. Essentially, we want this to be completely in beats so that the tick and the talk are exactly the same as opposed to more tick or more talk. The way we do that is by changing, this is blurry, is by changing the position of the stud and how the hairspring lies. Is that better? There we go. The position of the stud here. And basically this will, by moving this left to right, it will move the entire balance left to right, which moves the roller left to right in between the banking pins. That is all we're doing. Now let's see, where is, okay, so the split is there. And I don't know which way to move left or right because I didn't check to see, I didn't pull the power down and see how it lays in between the banking pins. So I'm just going to take a wild guess and go backwards. Usually with the power down, you can see in between the two banking pins if the roller jewel is more left or more right. With 0.5, it'll still look probably to the naked eye pretty damn centered because it's so close. So I will take a guess and say we're going to move it left. So let's grab this. Let me zoom this in actually. Okay. Just going to pull this down slightly. There's that hairspring collet with that slit. Basically we're going to put our screwdriver inside the slit and move it back a little bit. Okay, that was probably too big of an adjustment. We'll throw it back on the watch, put it on the timer, and see where we're at. We're probably way off now. That was a very large adjustment. A little is a lot with this. Yeah, now the rate is 2.7, so we're way off. But now we know that we have to now go right instead of left. So just that tiny little squeak threw it off 1.7 milliseconds off because it was at 0.5. So now let's go the other way. Go back the other way. Another huge adjustment. We'll see how far we are off this way now. May have to pull balance up again. It's not seeming to drop in. Let's see where we're at. Okay, 1.0. Now I have to decide whether or not I went too far left. 0.8, 0.7. Okay, I have to decide if I went too far left or if I still need to still go in the left direction. I think I will. I'll go just a teensy bit in the left direction and we'll see. Or I can check to see if the hairspring is not absolutely centered, and then we can adjust the beat that way. I think we'll do that. We'll start with the hairspring here because it is so close. Probably should have started with that at the start, but hello, Mr. D Hill Radio. Thank you for liking my videos. A microscope is extremely needed, especially if you're not handy with a loop. A loop is the best, but microscopes make everything easier. A loop, you can look at something in every different direction, but a microscope, you have the power. Let's see here. Let's look at this hairspring. Yeah. Okay, it's bunched up right there. It's bunched up towards the reg pins, so I'm going to try to pull this hairspring down this way. That's what I'll do. There, you can see it now. Okay. Actually, I'm going to demagnetize this again. I don't know if I did that initially. Magnetism is a mechanical watch's nightmare. Okay. Let's hope that pulled it off. I'll move this camera angle again. you guys not see? Hello, Mr. Carl. I think, okay, all right, we're good. So now we're gonna basically try to pull this hairspring this way. You see how it's bunched up? It's bunched up under the reg pins. So we wanna get this pulled a little bit this way. Let's see. I want to kind of put a curve. By the way, with hairspring work, if you're trying to adjust, if you want to pull a hairspring in either way, you want to go 90 degrees from the point of which you want. So if I want to unbunch this and pull it this way, I'll want to put a curve in it on this. So let's say I want to put a curve at it like 12 to 1 o'clock. I want to put a curve at it from 3 to 4 o'clock, and that'll pull the hairspring up this way. The problem is I don't have a whole hell of a lot of room with the automatic system here, which I should, well, even with the train bridge here, there's not a lot of room with adjusting this hairspring. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's a hair down there. That isn't good. Sometimes you can kind of pull the hairspring in the direction you want. Okay, that is better. It's less bunched. You also want to follow the same curve as the regulating pins, and so when you adjust this, you're just adjusting the speed of the balance as opposed to adjusting the way the balance lies. So you want to follow this same curve. See how I pulled the hairspring out and now it's not following? So when if the regulator ever gets over here, it would now pull the whole balance, or pull the whole hairspring down here, as opposed to just leaving it in the same position, moving it back and forth. Let's see where we're at with this. We are still at 0.6. Okay. Let's move. Let's move the pins and see if that changes it a bit. It's slow, so we want to move it fast, shortening the hairspring. Okay. Yep, I gotta still move the hairspring stud. Or I'm sorry, the hairspring collet. I'm just gonna move it just a smidgen. And by a smidgen, I mean like less than a human hair. I'm gonna look at it and it's gonna move and be too much. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is a dial tack. I'm sorry, not a dial tack. A balance cock tack. Basically, all it is a tapered thing, a tapered stake with a base to it, so that you can plop the balance cock on there, and it suspends it up in the air, and then you can manipulate whatever you want. This is what it looks like when it's. You guys can't see that. This is what it looks like when it's hanging out. So, yeah. All right. Okay, and by a smidge, I mean just literally absolutely nothing. Maybe the thickness of the hairspring is what I'll move it by, or even less than that. Yeah, even less than that for sure. Okay, I don't even know if I moved it, but that may be enough. This is much easier on pocket watches. You have a lot bigger parts to work with. Okay. We are at 0.5. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I moved it that little. Okay, so we know we have to go still left. I should say left. It's it's clockwise as opposed to counterclockwise. Okay, let's go a little bit more. Okay. That's very uncommon to go down 0.1 on such a small balance. I'm actually amazed. Now I'm going to definitely overshoot it. Actually going to get really, really magnified here so I can really see the adjustment. Oh my gosh, it's slipping out of my fingers. Okay. Do you guys see this? Oh, it's too dark. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see that. When you zoom in with the magnification, it gets darker and darker. I'm sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. There was a significant adjustment. We'll see if it's enough or if it's too much. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. It's probably one of the more boring things to do, but it's definitely necessary. And 1.3. We went too far. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I need to make that almost that same exact adjustment. Now, counterclockwise. Oh, we're at 1. God, what a pain in the butt. Okay. Hello, Mr. Downfield. How are you doing? Okay. Hoping with this adjustment we can get it so close that I can just tweak the hairspring a little bit. Okay, let's hope. Okay, so that was enough. Ooh. We are closer. .4. Let's see if I can touch the hairspring. Let's see if I can do that. .4 is really close. Let's see. See which way I need to put it or bring it. I'd bring it this way if anything. Yeah, let's see. Okay, that made it worse. Good. Somebody just kind of curved this up or downward. You can see the hairspring is slightly facing down on the inner side. Let's bring this back again. Let's check that. 0.4. No, I think I'm just going to have to move the stud again. 0.4. Okay. That's fine. What you want to do is get the hairspring absolutely centered and then start going for beat. The reason why I'm moving it in a position that's not centered is I want to see how close it is to centered to get it at a good beat rate. I'm not going to time this thing for 5 positions. I'll probably just do, oh, I will too. Actually, no, I lied. 5 positions. Dial up, dial down, and then crown up, down, left, right. I guess it's 6 positions. But if one position is worse off in 5, 6 positions than the other, but the others keep really, really good time, whatever. That if it's going to be an awkward, weird position, like crown diagonally up and to the right, like, who really cares? The watch will almost never be in that position. Okay. Move the collar again. Now, do I move it counterclockwise again or clockwise? That is the question. Oh, Justin Schaefer, how you doing? Gosh dang, these feet on this balance cock are really, really good. Just keeps getting caught on the plate. Come on, wiggle up. Hold on, I gotta turn down the heat. This watch is making me sweat. All right. Just gotta pull it straight up. There we go. These feet on here are they're really good. They're sticky, which is awesome. Okay. I'll go counterclockwise again because that's the position I was going in. And if it makes it worse, then I will go back down. But for now, I will go counterclockwise. Okay. Okay. Let's see if that was enough. I really hope so. Doing beat rate for an hour is annoying. I'm getting better at dropping this down into the movement, that's for sure. Okay. Please be closer than 0.4. Or at 2.8. Okay. Holy crap. Let's go back down the other way now. Let's move this a little bit too. Okay. So what we did was we overshot it on the last one, or the one before last, and then we just pushed it more in that direction on the last one. Okay. Okay. We're probably in the ones right now. We'll see though. Jesus. Okay, I thought I was getting better. I guess I wasn't. Let's pull this up again. Let's go back. 1.8. Yeah, okay. So on the newer watches, they have a stud adjustment, which just looks like a little nub that sticks out from the balance cock that the stud goes into. And you can literally just adjust the stud off of that, and it's so freaking easy to get the beat rate down. It happens, you get the beat rate down in 2 seconds. This does not have that. I don't think it does. Hold on. This is... No, this stud is solid to the... Oh my god. Oh my god, it's not. Okay. It does have a stud adjustment on it. I'm so used to working on vintage watches that just literally don't have the stud adjustment. Oh my god. Okay. I will show you guys what a stud adjuster is. Holy crap. Well, now you guys know how to do it for the vintage watches. Older than this. So used to working on pocket watches that are 100 plus years old and do not have a stud adjustment. Okay, let's get this in here and let's adjust the stud. Holy crap. Let's put this in with the microscope. I wondered why the hairspring collet had absolutely no wear on it. Now I know, because you don't need to move it ever. Unless you're removing the hairspring from the balance. Oh my gosh. Feels like my last two brain cells were duking it out. Okay. Alright, this right here. This is the stud to the hairspring. This comes out from the balance cock and holds the stud. This is adjustable. Oops. That moves. So I don't have to move the hairspring collet. I can just move that. Oh my goodness. Alright, where are we at now? We were at 3 off. Okay. We're at 1.3 off. .2. One. .4. Zero. Okay, now let's move the regulator pins. We're fast, so we want to slow it down by by elongating the hairspring. So we want to push these regulator pins in this direction, elongating the hairspring. Okay, we want to go a little bit more. You want to have this regulated, the spring-loaded part of the regulator, as close to center as you can. Just so that later on you can adjust it and whatnot. But as a servicer, you want to put it in the more centered position. Okay. If a watch is so bad off and it takes you so long to get it regulated properly, and it's one way or the other, slow or fast, leave it. And this, I mean, like, the watch needed new balance screws or balance washers or whatever, but it takes so long and you finally get it to where it's a good runner and keeps good time in different positions, just leave the regulator one way or the other. Okay, now we're going to shorten it a little bit. I wondered why that hairspring collet was untouched. Well, because you don't got to move it. fast. Okay, I'm gonna get the beat rate down again because now it's at 0.2, 0.3, and then I'm going to use the micro adjust because it is very, very close. I'm assuming we have to go this way now. Oops. Let's see. Oop, went the wrong way. Okay, this way. Okay, we are almost perfect. That might have been too much. Yep, that was too much. Okay. Oh, here, let me give you this point of view. Yeah, we went too much again. That's okay. Is quite literally almost perfect. We just now need to move the regulating pins and get it back to close to 0 seconds a day. You always want to be faster than slower though. So if you can't get it to 0, 0, oh my goodness, that moved. Okay, we got to move the stud again. But this is much, 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 much easier than moving the collet. That's for darn sure. Let's get this back down. That should be way fast now. Yeah, oops, okay. Okay, now let's do the stud again. Actually, just gonna do it with the loop. Oh my goodness, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, now I'm gonna micro adjust. Okay. We are fast. Okay. We want this thing to flatline. That's pretty damn flatline. We are at 0 seconds a day at 0.0, well, 2 seconds a day now, positive, at 0.0. This is pretty damn good. Yeah, this is pretty damn good. We're going to check the other positions here. I just want to see if this will keep up. If we're in +2 to -1, that's fine. Okay. Let us check dial up. Okay. Dial up and dial down should be exactly the same. The fact that the hairspring moves, I'll say quite a bit, from 0.0 seconds a day to, for beat rate, to 0.2 is a big movement. And then we're +5 on the seconds a day for timing, +6. Let us now check pendant down, because that's the second most common. So 3 o'clock down is the second most common position. That's when your hand is just resting down. Now, something to note with this is this balance does not have balance screws. It is just a solid balance. So the only adjustment we're able to make on this is on the hairspring. With older watches, they have regulating screws, which are the Greenwich Mean Time screws, usually on the railroad watches, or they have just balance screws that you can add or remove weight to. Now, the beauty of this Omega is that this thing, you can't add weight. You can remove weight by, I think I showed you guys in the last video where somebody had taken off weight from the bottom of the balance, where they basically drilled out little dimples. So there's not much we can do with the balance. It has to be the manipulation of the hairspring. But still, at pendant down, -8 seconds and 0.4 off is pretty damn good. The next position we're going to check is crown right. So 3 o'clock up and to the right, which would be this one. Yeah. 3 o'clock to the right is still looking really good. We're -5.2, 0.1 off. .13 off. I'm sorry, 13 seconds off. Slow. And our amplitude went down from, I think we were at 260 at dial down, now it's at 222. So the hairspring does need to be manipulated. Still looks pretty good. And then we'll look at crown left. Crown left is nice. And again, we're looking at a watch that was made in the 60s. So this thing is 60 plus years old. I don't even know when the first production of the 550s were, but it's either late 50s, early 60s, something like that. That looks good, and we'll go to crown straight up. The only thing that's a little bit concerning is the loss of amplitude. I think the mailman's here. Let me go grab my mail real quick. Alright, and crown up, minus 16. We are going to get these better, but for the sake of time, I'm going to install it in the case and show you guys that, and I'll time it later, because, yeah. But Tim tells Tom you can't see anything. I know, we're at the crown right position here. So, that was not the mailman. Actually, the landlord is going to tear down the cherry tree in the back. So I might have to end the stream early if they're going to be sawing away at a tree in my backyard. But, okay. So, let's install this in the case. It's a pretty movement. Okay. Let's move this. Yeah, and I'm going to turn off my ring notifications because, yes, there's going to be people in the backyard tearing down a tree. Oh, they really are going to tear down the cherry tree. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Okay. So, oops. There you go. Okay. Is Elgato not working? Elgato should be working. Okay. Let's get this in the case. Tim, if you're here, a little bit ago, I was changing the beat error, and I was pulling the balance off of the movement, and I was moving the hairspring collet, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, damn, this hairspring collet, it's not worn at all. It looks like this is a brand new watch. Nobody's ever changed the beat rate on this thing, because usually you can see that collet has opened up just slightly. It's not crisp and clean and just looked like it just got stuck on there. And I'm looking at it, and I started explaining how newer watches have a stud adjustment. And while I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on. These have stud adjustments. And so, flip the balance over, and sure enough, there is a stud adjustment on this watch. So we got it pretty good. I'll get it better, but for the sake of time, we're going to install it in the case. Okay, got both braces on there. The watch is timed somewhat good. We're going to install it in the case. I'll show you what that looks like. Recently, I cleaned the case just with the case cleaner. I think I used Jaeger-LeCoultre Pro. It's a non-toxic jewelry cleaner. So, okay. So there's that. So, it's just as simple as dropping this in here, getting the male part of the split stem inside of the crown tube, or the case tube rather. Dropping it in there. Okay, that's set. Well, I'm sorry, it's in there. Now we're going to set it with the spring that holds in the movement. Are we not set? Oh no, we got it. Okay, so basically what that does, I just moved the spring. What that does is those two movement braces, this whole movement slides into those holes, and then this spring can unlock and lock those movement braces. So now they're locked in. So, blow that off. I'm going to install the crown before I go with the crystal. I don't know if you guys can hear them. They're tearing down that tree. We're just going to push slightly and work it back and forth until I find when it's caught, when it's caught that split stem and that female part has clicked over the male part. Ooh, but it's stiff. So, okay, so why it's stiff most likely is that old gasket that I never took out that I just cleaned is gumming this up. So I'm going to yank this crown off and see if I can get that yucky gasket out of there. Let's go back with these levers. Pull that crown off. Where did I put? Were you waiting, Tim? That's hilarious. He's probably like, what is this idiot doing? Yeah, man, I'm used to working on pocket watches. I know you are too, but hey, I think you got, you're a bit more cunning than I am. So that is funny though. Thank you for letting me struggle and not comment it. Let's pull this crown off. Okay. Look at that. We didn't break the split stem. My God. Okay. Well, at least now you guys know how to adjust bead error on every watch. Okay. This is the crown. Let me go to the microscope and see if we can't yank that gross gasket out of there. Because it's probably, yeah, it's turned to cement. Okay, we can stop autofocusing now. Here, focus on that. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go look at the Omega books and see if I can't find the gasket size for this and get another gasket for it. This thing will never be waterproof, but I can get it close. So what I use to pull out old gaskets is I get an old crappy oiler and I kind of bend it into a hook. And then I hook the gasket and yank it out. So, let's get an old oiler. Okay. If it's really old, yeah, it's really old. It needs to be just broke out. If you guys can hear that, here comes the tree. I can honestly mute the audio. That might, if that's that loud. I want to see if it's that loud. If you guys can hear that, here comes the tree. I don't know. I guess let me know if that's way too loud. I'll definitely mute the audio. Look at this thing. It's literally just concrete dust. Well, for right now, I'm going to mute the audio because I'm sure that's annoying. So, audio muted. So, it would be nice if I can remove this cap. This cap here is holding down this gasket. The hard part is I just tried to unscrew this female part of the split stem, and it is not unscrewing. And you definitely don't want to be pressing on this part of the stem because it'll break it off. Definitely done that before. How am I going to get that gasket out of there? If this is a cap, which it most likely is, that would be numero uno to take off, but I'm wondering how I'm going to get leverage to yank off this cap. Kind of hoping I can eat away enough of this gasket to where it'll start turning inside. You know, the best way to do this, if I had, there's a solution that just eats rubber. Put a drop of that in there and it would eat the rubber away. Let's see. Let's see here. Let me look up something. Solvents that eat rubber. No, this is just rubber cleaner. I know alcohol can eat plastic. Because this is just going to be ridiculous trying to scrape this out of here. You guys have any ideas for me? Well, while I think on that, let's do this. While I think on that, let's install the crystal, and let's install the bezel, because I want to think on how to do that properly rather than just breaking off the stem. Probably I'm just gonna have to scrape it out though. That drops in there. Bezel goes over top, and there's a little notch actually in the bezel, and that little notch would go at 9 o'clock. It's like an easy open. They used to make things so you can work on them. They don't make things anymore so you can work on them. It's all about throwing it away. Okay, so this goes over top. Let me get my press out and we will install this. I use a BB crystal press. So I'm gonna get out these fixtures like this. Like that. These are too small. These should probably work. So we want to find one that fits over the crystal and touches the bezel. That's too small. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, and then we want to find one that the watch can rest on, the back of, where the back of the watch can just rest on it. So we'll get a smaller one like this. Smaller one like that. This gets installed in the press. This also gets installed. Make sure that that bezel lines up at 9 o'clock. Okay. Oh. Wonderful. Might be too big actually. It might be a little bit too big. We might have a bezel issue. I remember when I was looking at it before we serviced it that it wasn't laying down properly. Let's try to set this over the crystal first and then install it. This might be too big of a fixture. Okay, that seems to work. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Now I think I need a little bit bigger die on this side. Let's get the bigger one. That one too big? Too big. Now with a watch that you really care about, if you're going to use these aluminum dies, put a piece of plastic down in between the die and the thing you're working on, in between the bezel. Ah, did you hear that? That was a good sound. Oh, maybe it wasn't. It was not a good sound. I thought I heard the bezel snap on. Okay, what the hell is going on here? Let's try taking off the crystal and installing it onto the bezel over top. And then installing the bezel down, because the bezel might have a problem with getting over this large bubble initially. So let's try doing that first. Bezel is bent for sure. Okay. Good. Okay, now let's install the bezel and crystal all at one go. Yeah, this bezel's bent. It's down one side and it's up on the other. It's thought it would kind of snap into action, but it is definitely not doing that. It's on there, but it is 100% bent. Probably gonna have to flatten out the bezel somehow. Yeah, it's up. It's down all the way around except for at 12 o'clock. It's bent up. Well, so far, this is what it looks like. It's a pretty watch. But at 12 o'clock, you can see there's a little bit of a lip in between the bezel and the case. And all the way around the watch is completely flat all the way down. Except for that at 12 o'clock. So, how am I going to get that? I guess I'm just going to have to pull the bezel off, flatten it, and then reset it. Okay. Yes, kitty. Okay. Damn. Well, I kind of want to get started on that 992E as opposed to messing around with this crown gasket and everything. Let me see if I can't just flatten it really quick. I'll try to flatten it with the press so I can get even adjustments all the way down. Okay. And actually, before I do that, I'm actually going to go buff the crystal again once more because finagling with it right now, I've put a little bit of some surface scratches on it. So, I'm going to go buff the crystal really quick. I'll be right back. got it buffed. I'm just going to wash it really quick. Alright. Got it all cleaned up. I can actually show you guys the Omega symbol too. Over in the microscope view, you can see that. That's the Omega symbol. This signifies that this is a genuine Omega crystal. Let me see if I can't focus that a little bit better. That right there signifies that this Omega is genuine. This crystal, anyway. Okay. Yes, and you can see on the bezel that this is not flat. So, how are we going to flatten this? This flat one. That's not going to reach. We could do this though. Better. Okay, now let's see it. All right. So 12 o'clock's down too. All right, we fixed it. 12 o'clock is fully down. Let me show you. 12 o'clock is fully down. Oops, that's 6. If you follow it all the way around, the bezel has seated flat all the way around. Good. Now, I might leave. I have to look up actually a solution that eats plastic and rubber, and I will, hopefully it doesn't eat chrome finish, and I will get that stuff and put this in a solution of it, just a couple drops in there, and just have it liquefy it. I might stick this in a vat of alcohol for a little bit and see if it doesn't dissolve the plastic away, because I know alcohol, if you leave these old acrylic crystals in there, absolutely destroys them. So I'll do that with the crown and see if that I'll do that with the crown and see if that doesn't get rid of the gasket. All right. So we did a service on this. We got the grate wheel to the automatic system replaced. We got the reverser wheel to the automatic system replaced. We got the main bridge to the automatic system replaced. We buffed the crystal. We did not buff the rest of the case. We rubbed off the Seamaster and DeVille off of the dial. Well, part of it anyway, because we were pushing far too hard with the brush and far too long. We got some of the finish taken off as well. So, for 200 bucks, yeah, this was paid way too much for this Seamaster. But it's timing out pretty well. I will make adjustments to that hairspring in the future. So let's move on to the 992E, because I've been itching to work on that for like a few days now. So let's put that to the side. Okay. And I'll show you guys this with my Elgato, actually. Or with my... So yesterday I spent about 2 or 3 hours yesterday, and then the day before from 7 o'clock at night till 2 o'clock in the morning, I spent organizing my tool chest here. I have this for watch parts and everything. I have lathe collets and stuff up there. And then I got, these are my grandfather's old just tool chests. He used to teach out at North Seattle Community College. He used to teach watch repair out there. And so I organized all these drawers and tool chests. This is mainly lathe stuff. So you have files and stones like Arkansas stones and different brass stock, steel stock, shellac, stuff like that. A graver holder to sharpen gravers, how to make small drills, all that stuff. This is kind of like the lathe toolbox. You got twist drills, gravers, all that stuff. This is more just watch repair, but it's nice using it as like a shelving unit. So I'm pleased. So yeah, that's just what I want to show you. Took a long time to organize all this stuff, but and actually on eBay right now I am selling a lot. There's a huge lot of just random watchmakers tools like mainspring winders and all that stuff. So yeah, if you check out Time Matter on eBay, you will definitely see that stuff. Okay, let's get that 992E going. 2E or not 2E? And I actually bought this 992E from Tim Hell's Time down in the chat. So thank you very much. I don't think I'm going to be using the case it has. I want to use the original case, but it is very, very worn. And actually the two holes, I was explaining this on stream like last week, that hold the bar over crown in there, they worn open. So yeah, probably just going to use a new display case. This is dirty right now because we're about to get this watch clean. Yeah, you can see the case is quite worn. Pretty much anywhere where you put your fingers is worn off. There's big old dents in there. Case back is worn. Around the crown guards is worn. Bar over crown is worn. Crown is worn. Bezel is in decent shape. Yeah, it's pretty well worn. It's a beautiful watch, but pretty well worn. Okay, let's move the hands up and then remove them. I've been itching to work on this watch. All right. Is it not bright enough? Okay. Just got a hand remover, piece of plastic, just to keep the dial and hands safe. I actually need to get that little plastic slip that goes under the hands to keep the dial safe. Luckily, these porcelain dials are pretty damn hardy, but I actually have one. I lost it, but I have one that slips under. I can show you guys in another watch. It slips under the, you've probably seen it, hour and minute hand, and then you can put plastic over that and then remove it. But yeah, okay. I wonder if I should remove the autofocus and just have it focused or not focused. Let's see. That's where we want to focus it. Oops. That's probably better. Now you won't hear the freaking lens go back and forth and it's focused. Okay. 992s are beautiful. 992Es are, all that means is the hairspring is made of Elenvar. And I don't know what the hell Elenvar is made of. It's some alloy that I will definitely look up. But I guess it's better than just normal steel. Cool. We are focused. No more autofocus. Cool. Okay. Let's remove these. These are the case screws that hold the movement to the case. Okay. Jesus. Let's get the case screws out. I am always a fan of case screws that are solid screw heads as opposed to the half screw heads. I don't know if you guys have seen that in pocket watches where they'll have half a screw head, and so you kind of like, you're able to unscrew it halfway and then drop the movement out. I don't really like those because it seems like they don't always line up properly, and then they eat into the case, ruining the case and making it so the movement doesn't get fixed on the case very well. But okay. All right. There we go. Remove that. Oh my gosh, yeah. This is, look at this. The case is literally falling apart right now. Look at this. This is broken open. And then this also, this crown is moving up and down. Okay. I'm probably going to use the new display cases I bought. I was planning on buying a movement anyway. Let's just screw this back together. Probably not going to use it, but let me make sure real quick. It is working. Okay, cool. I'm going to be careful with these threads on the back, not to misthread them. This is proving to be difficult to get on. The bottom, at 6 o'clock the threads are getting on, but everywhere else. Odd. There we go. Okay. Let's remove these dial screws. All right. So there are 2 or 3 dial screws, most likely 3 on this because it's an older pocket watch. They screw in from the side and hold on to, they anchor in, there's feet to the dial, the feet set into the movement, and these anchor into the feet. This one, there's one at 8 o'clock. So, one at between 4 and 5, one at 8, and then one up in between 11 and 12. Okay, now we should be able to lift up the dial. Kind of work it up. Okay. This is a beautiful dial. I love the railroad special like boxcar dials. I love the bold letters, the big sub-seconds, and just look good. Okay. So now here we are going to remove the hour wheel, minute wheel, cannon pinion, 2 intermediate wheels, the clutch, winding pinion, and then the lever set. Oh, the lever set has some. The lever has some rust on it right here. Might have to take a scratch brush to that. Okay, so this is a dial washer. Dial washers just go between the hour wheel and the dial so that they don't bind up, causing the watch to run finicky. It's the hour wheel, minute wheel, and then the cannon pinion. I'm actually going to pull up with a special tool. It's a cannon pinion remover. Those look something like this. Basically, you push down this lever, these two pushers come down, push against the movement, and grab the inside, grab the cannon pinion. So, this goes over like so. Push down, grabs the cannon pinion, you remove it, just like that. Be careful. Your fourth wheel that comes through, that's your seconds wheel, is right here. Be careful when you're on the dial side not to squish this and break this pivot off, because this is what your second hand rests on. And it is quite a bit up. It's not flush. So let's remove those intermediate wheels. Okay. Well, I hold the screwdriver with the tweezer just so that if my screwdriver were to slip, when I unthread the screw fully, I don't drop the screwdriver down, scratching the watch. The screw does not want to come out of there. Try to wiggle it a bit, but does not want to come out. Let's try to get it out of the threads one more time. It's all the way up. Let's see. There we go. This is just a little cover that holds down those two intermediate wheels. Here's one wheel, and here's the second. Those connect directly to the clutch, which when pulled out, when the setting lever's pulled out, this engages the clutch to the setting mechanism. This is the keyless works, so you can set the watch. Otherwise, in the resting position, it is in winding. While I'm back here, let's remove... Actually, no. I will remove the cap jewels to the pallet and to the balance after I've disassembled the watch. Yeah, let's remove this lever and the spring. What's going on, AJ? How you doing? Okay, this is still too small. There we go. With the bigger screws, I tend not to grab the screwdriver with my tweezer, just because you slip less, but to each their own. Okay, let's remove this screw as well. This is the spring that engages with the setting lever. Oh, there's the compressor. Okay. Let's flip this over and let's take off the balance and start disassembling the watch. First, let's open this up a bit. Okay. All right. Good sign. Balance swings. I believe Tim told me this thing actually kept really good time before, so I have to make it keep the same amount of time or better time. Okay, let's remove this balance here. This is interesting. So on that last Omega we were just doing, the stud went into the balance cock, and a screw went in and locked right into the stud. This actually has a little plate that is held in by two screws, right here and here, and the stud goes into the cock, and then you screw down the plate on top, pushing down on the stud, so that's the way it is held in. So, different ways to hold studs. Where's my loop at? I lose that thing more than, oh, there we go. A bit of rust on the regulator. Okay. Let's pull up this stud here. Okay, stud is out of the locking or the holding mechanism for it. Let's remove this balance cock here. Oh. Wow. Maybe I got ahead of myself. I got ahead of myself. Okay. Okay. Balance cock. And now we will pull up the balance. And so I can show you here too. Like I was talking about with the Omega, if you guys were here for that, this has Greenwich Mean Time screws. And so the screws are at 12, 6, 3, and 9. And these are screws that you're actually able to pull in and out, regulating the timing on the watch. A lot of watches don't have Greenwich Mean Time screws. Really only like railway watches do. So this is special. All right. Okay. This watch just shown has no power on it. We started shaking it and the balance would go a little bit, but since I've been told that this watch runs, and since there's no power on it, I'm assuming there's no power in the mainspring barrel. I'm going to grab a key and I'm going to let whatever power is in there down, but I don't think there's any power on this watch. So let me grab the key here. This is a kind of like a universal pocket watch key here. Has different sizes. Let's see, the one that fits, that one's a little bit too small. Go up in size. That one fits. Okay. So now we are going to go to, like we're winding the watch, and then we're going to move the click out of the way. Go like we're winding, move the click out of the way, and release power. See, there's absolutely no power on the watch. I will show you now. I'll put some power on and I'll show you what it looks like when you let down power when there's power on the watch. So let's wind it up a little bit. Oh, I'm being silly. Okay. Well, since the setting mechanism's all taken out, that spring that holds the watch in resting, which is winding, or in setting, is now the clutch is just floating back and forth. So I got one wind on it before the clutch slipped out of the way. So I'm unable to show you. Okay. That was just like absolutely no power to let down. Okay, cool. Let me put this back and let's remove the ratchet wheel and crown wheel. Ratchet wheel is usually normal threads, left-handed or normal lefty loosey righty tighty. A lot of times the crown wheel is left-handed threads, which would be the opposite. Man, everything Hamilton made from this time period is just so nice. Everything falls apart and falls together. Let's remove the click right now. Okay. Now we can remove the ratchet wheel. Okay, and the ratchet wheel actually, so this is the barrel arbor right here. This is what goes inside the mainspring barrel and catches onto the mainspring and what you wind. It has a little, it's not a cylindrical circle. It's not a symmetrical circle, I should say. There's a little flat side to it, and that flat side actually hooks onto the ratchet wheel, which also has a flat side to it. You can see that here, if it'll focus. So the arbor just clicks into that. And then when you wind the watch, the ratchet wheel and the crown wheel connect with the crown, so you can wind it. They connect with the stem that connects to the crown. Okay. There was a couple little scratches on the ratchet wheel, but that's okay. It is an old watch. Okay. Now let's get a biggest screwdriver we got, and let's see if this is most likely lefty tighty, righty loosey. Let's see. So if we go to the right, oh no, oh my gosh, which way is it? Oh my goodness. This is scary. It feels the same exact way left and right. What's going to end up happening here is I'm going to break off the head of this screw. I agree. The 992 is a great watch to learn on for a beginner because everything works awesome on it. Everything works perfect. The only thing I'd say is, for an absolute beginner, yes, it's a great watch to learn on, and they're not that expensive, but it's so beautiful that if you were to scratch it up, it would hurt. But that's the only way to learn. So I agree that the 992 is an awesome watch to learn on because if you do it correctly, you can actually get a watch that runs and keeps very good time, and everything falls together. This is annoying that the crown wheel, it feels the same loose when I go left and when I go right. I'm going to take a guess and say that this is like every other crown wheel, where right is the way to loosen it. I wonder if there's something I could. Do you guys, AJ? Do you know off the top of your head if this is a left-handed thread or if it's a right-handed thread? Because if it's a left-handed thread, I'll just go right. But if it's a right-handed thread, I'm definitely going left. I'm assuming I'd turn it clockwise. Yeah, it's just scary because it's very tight. Oh my gosh, man. somebody put this on here very tight. Oh my goodness. I might take off this bridge, and if the screw goes all the way through the plate, through the bridge rather, through the barrel bridge, I'll put a bit of WD-40 on the bottom part of it and see if I can't break it through or break it free, because the last thing I want to do is break the head off and leave threads in the barrel bridge and then have to unscrew them when they're that tight. So that's what I'm gonna do. How fun. This screw is extremely loose, alright. Wish your crown wheel brother was that loose. Alright, let's go. Yeah, these are good watches to learn on because they just, everything's perfect. Okay, cool, it does go through. You can see. So, I'll put a bit of WD-40 there just to drop and see if it can't work its way in. Where did I put that WD-40 I had? I think it's in my car. I'll be right back. I need my keys. All right. Alright, of course I've lost it. Of course I've lost it. Where did... Oh, there it is. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of this in a glass petri dish and then just apply it. Thinking regular thread, but not sure at the moment. Okay, thank you for that. I'll try regular initially, but a lot of the times, you know, the crown wheels are, you know, left-handed thread. But we will add just a teensy bit WD-40 to this, and then apply it to the back of that screw. works. Okay. This WD-40 is probably going to last me like 10 years or more. Okay. I'll do this on the microscope so you can see how much I'm actually putting onto this. Uh-oh, look at that. Somebody freaking screwed the shit out of this. Okay. Literally just going to get an oiler here. Oh my gosh, yeah, look at all these little metal threads. I need something thicker than an oiler, actually. Let me just grab a screwdriver head. There's some. Let's pull a bit more. Let's hope this works down into the threads. Okay. Okay, let's hope that works into the threads. Now, let's get back to disassembling this. Okay. I had this thread, it's called liquid wrench. It was a thread breaker. And I ran out of it. I think my grandfather had it for like 40 years. I need to buy more of it. So right now I'm just going to use some WD-40, but I definitely loved that stuff. It's this real dark liquid, but it worked great. Okay, I'm actually going to apply that bridge again and pull off the capsule. So this is the center wheel. It's the third wheel, fourth wheel, escape, and then you have your mainspring barrel. And then here is your keyless works, which is your clutch, winding pinion, and then the stem assembly. Okay. Alrighty. Let's take off the pallet capsule and the pallet bridge. There we go. Just that last little thread. Holding on for dear life. Okay. Now let's remove the, that's too big, the pallet bridge that says Ellen Var. I think a Grail watch for me, and this is pretty damn amazing that I've seen one of them. So there's 950s, there's 950Bs, there's 950Es, and then there's the Ball. I don't know, I don't remember what Ball called it, but essentially it's a Hamilton 950E, which is an Ellenvar hairspring that was branded by Ball. And it sold for $1,100, $1,200, and this thing's worth so much money. I mean, they're one of the most rare, fine watches I've ever seen for the pocket watches. Oh, you can see under the barrel bridge, there's some oil that has leaked. Can you see that right there? Oil has leaked out, probably of the, I don't even know what would be right there. Maybe it leaked out of the barrel. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Barrel doesn't seem like it has oil leaking out of it, but oil leaked out and got on the main plate. Okay, let's get that train bridge back on there, and let's remove the escape capsule. Come on. Okay, let me just put one screw in there. I should have removed this when it was on there, but I'd already removed the screws, so remove the screws to the train bridge. Oh, those are kind of tight. If you can see that better. Okay, I'm gonna have to remove that with a key. Jewel pusher. Okay, let's remove the dial screws fully. These I can never grip onto with tweezers. Seems like I can only grab them with Radico. One dial screw. Two. And the third. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Let's remove the lower balance capsule. Okay. Oops. Does that look? I'm trying to get the lighting right for you guys. Okay. Balance capsule has gunk on it. Same with the no, the palette doesn't. And the escape doesn't, just the balance does. Look at this. some type of gunk. Well, let's remove it. So we just removed the jewel screws to the balance, to the pallet, and now to the escape wheel. Reason why we're removing these ones is because they have cap jewels. So we want to remove these, and then we can remove the cap from the hole, and then clean them. Let me grab my key, my pusher here. This is just like a jewel pusher, a brass end, and all you do is you push on the jewel to drive it out of the plate or bridge that it's in. That's it. Okay. You want to push on the setting and not the jewel. First comes the balance. Okay. There's that. Will focus there? I don't know. Yeah. Balance, hole, and cap jewel. Next is the pallet. And third is the escape. Oh, so I was wrong. The gunky one was the escape wheel. Okay. And now we are going to remove the escape, hole, and cap from the bridge. I will do that with a bench block. Just like that. Oops. All right. Now, this plate and the bridges are pretty much bare bones. Now we can move to alcohol and clean them, and then throw them in the ultrasonic cleaner. I think I'll remove, actually, before I do that, I will remove the spring, the regulator and regulator spring to the balance cog here. Remove that now. Like that. Okay. I don't think I'm going to remove the screws to the stud plate because they are horrible to get back in. I've done it many times and they're horrible to get back in, and I doubt it's that dirty under there. Oh, I also have to remove the, sorry, I have to remove the hole and cap jewel to the balance as well. Forgot about that. So let's do that. What I really would like to buy, there's this guy, I think he's in Germany, but correct me if I'm wrong, and he makes this thing called a swing polisher, and it's just a screw head polisher, or if the regulator's flat like this, it can be, you can polish the regulating spring and regulator, and if you use diamond paste, you can put like a black finish on it. I would really like to get one of those. Okay, there's that. Now let's get the jewel out. Uh-oh. This screw's just spinning freely. That is not a good sign. Hopefully this one unscrews. This one does unscrew. That is not a good sign, though, about the balance. Okay. Okay. What we're probably going to have to do is I'm going to screw down these screws tight. Probably going to have to push out that screw from the bottom. And then we're going to have to find one that has a little bit thicker threads that we can put in there so it actually screws down and doesn't just mush. Fun stuff. Okay. Alrighty. Let's try to push out that screw under the microscope. Okay, there's the culprit. See if we can just try and tap it out. See if it's that loose. It is. Cool. Cool. Okay. Now let's just remove the hole and cap jewel. Again, we're going to do this with our pusher. Those were tight. Still not out. Cap got out. Okay, let's remove this regulator. I thought that, and I was wrong, I thought that the regulator was held down. Maybe this had a cap on it and it was holding down this regulator, but usually you want to remove it while it's on, while the balance cog is fixated to something, while it's fixed to, like, not fixated, but while it's anchored onto the main plate or something. But I thought that this cap was holding down the regulator, and it's not a cap, so okay. Let's see how the WD-40 has gone. Hope it's not a puddle anymore and that it's seeped into those threads. Well, we can try it. I say we try it. I will go off of Mr. AJ and assume it is a regular thread and unscrew it that way. All right, let's see. Holy crap. I wonder. Well, no, because this is moving freely. Usually there's a little metal disc that is under this, under the wheel and under this little set disc, and so it allows it, if you screw down the screw tight, that there's slippage so the wheel can wind. But if that wasn't there, the wheel would be so tight it couldn't wind. So what the heck's going on? I'm gonna try again lefty loosey and see. If not, I'm gonna have to leave it overnight, which is a bummer. Oh my god. Try it again. I wish I had, like, usually you shouldn't have to do this, but I wish I had a handle to this screwdriver I could put in my palm so I could really get some good leverage on it. But this thing is definitely on there. Oh, my battery died. Maybe this is a sign from God saying, hey, time to take a break. Damn, I want to get this out of there. Let me charge my battery here. Well, you can see me over here. I may need to take a break. Charge this battery and let that WD-40 work in there because it is not coming loose. Curious if I have. The last thing I want to do is scratch this thing or break it. No, the last thing scratching is one thing. The last thing I want to do is break off the head. This is too thick. Any screwdriver that's a normal screwdriver would be far too thick. That would give me much better leverage. Wonder. Well, it's another lesson. If you're doing something, do it right. I just tried to, oh, it's pulled out. I just tried to do something the wrong way, and I scratched it a little bit, and I'll show you. I should let the WD-40 work in. That's what I should do. And put those two scratches right there. I just slipped the screwdriver twice trying to really manhandle it, but damn. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the WD-40 to work in, and my battery will charge. So, I guess I could pop out the mainspring with you guys here, but basically, I'm going to wait, let the WD-40 work in, get something to eat, and then probably be back on a little bit later tonight when the battery is charged. Oh my god. Well, I can show you this. This is an old blue steel mainspring. We need to change this out with a new white alloy. And it's quite set. If they look like this, they need to be replaced. This is extremely set. This thing should be all long. This can basically give almost no power. So, surprised it kept good time with it. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you when the battery is charged and I was able to remove that screw. Hope you have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. So, yeah. See you guys later.